You are welcome back to our online CISA lecture series, and we continue our discussion on jobs practice area. We have said earlier on that job practice area contains 5 domains, and each domain is further divided into task and knowledge statement. So domain 1, which is the process of auditing information system, contains task statement and knowledge statement. But first, what's the objective of this domain? Domain 1, the objective of the domain 1 is to ensure that the CISA candidate has the knowledge necessary to provide audit services in accordance with IS audit standard to assist the organization with protecting and controlling information system. And as we have said that this domain is further divided into task and knowledge statement. First, let's examine what's the relationship between task statement and knowledge statement. The task statements are what the CISA candidate is expected to know how to perform. That's the job you want to perform. So that's the task statement. While the knowledge statement is the area in which the CISA candidate must have a good understanding in order to perform the task. The task statement are the job that you want to perform as a CISA candidate, and the knowledge statement is where you get the knowledge from, so that you can be able to perform the task expectedly. So let's delve into task statement and knowledge statement, and we can now link the two together. Number 1, the task statement in domain 1. Execute a risk-based IS audit strategy in compliance with IS audit standard to ensure that the key risk area are audited. Execute a risk IS audit strategy in compliance with IS standard to ensure that the risk area are audited. Question, task statement 2. Plan specific audit to determine whether the information system are protected, control, and provide value to the organization. Plan specific audit to determine whether information system are protected, control, and provide value to the organization. Task statement 3. Conduct audit in accordance with IS audit standard to achieve plan, audit, and objective. Conduct audit in accordance with IS audit standard to achieve plan, audit, and objective. 4. Communicate audit results and make recommendation to key stakeholder through meetings and audit report to promote change when necessary. Communicate audit results and make recommendation to key statements through key stakeholders, through meetings and audit reports to promote change when necessary. And task statement 5. Conduct audit follow-up to determine whether appropriate action has been taken by management in a timely manner. Conduct audit follow-up to determine whether appropriate action have been taken by the management in a timely manner. You can see all the task statement is relating to auditing. The first one is execute a risk-based IS audit strategy in compliance with IS audit standard. 2. Plan specific audit to determine whether information systems are protected. 3. Conduct audit in accordance with IS audit standard. 4. Communicate audit results and make recommendation. 5. And conduct audit follow-up. You can see these are audit job. That is why it is called task statement. Now let's go to knowledge statement. Knowledge statement contains 11 key points. 11 key points. So the first point there is knowledge of ICAN IT audit and assurance standard, guidelines and tools and techniques, code of professional ethics, and other applicable standard. Knowledge of IT audit and assurance standard, guidelines and tools and techniques, code of professional ethics, and other applicable standard. 2. Knowledge of the risk assessment concept and tools and techniques used in planning, examination, reporting, and follow-up. Knowledge of the risk assessment concept and tools and techniques used in planning, examination, reporting, and follow-up. 3. knowledge of fundamental business processes, that's purchasing, payroll, accounts payable, account receivable, and the role of IS in these processes. That means you should have knowledge of all these processes as an IS audit. 4. Knowledge of control principle related to control information system. And you should know the control principles related to the control information system. 5. Knowledge of risk-based auditing, audit planning, and audit project management techniques, including follow-up. So you should have knowledge of risk-based audit planning and audit project management techniques, including follow-up, in order to carry out the tasks mentioned earlier. 6. Knowledge of the applicable laws and regulations that affect the scope, evidence collection and preservation, and frequency of audit. That means in any in any geographical location you find yourself, you should first of all, as an IS audit, look at the laws and regulations that affect your work before you can lay your hand on any tax. Number 7. Knowledge of the evidence collection techniques. That's like observation, inquiry, inspection, interview, data analysis you gather in the course of audit job. Number 8. Knowledge of different sampling methodologies and other substantive or data analytical procedure, like attribute sampling, variable, substantive, and so on. Compliance. Number 9. Knowledge of reporting and communication techniques. That's a soft skill an IS auditor needs to gain. It's like facilitation, negotiation skill, conflict resolution skill. Auditor, these are non-technical skill or the IS auditor needs to gain. Knowledge of audit quality assurance system and framework. Then knowledge of various type of audit, like internal audit, external audit, financial audit, operational audit. So you need to have knowledge of this as an IS auditor before you can take up the tasks we mentioned earlier. So we continue our discussion in the next lecture. Thank you.